Good afternoon, sirs.
Yeah, take a seat. Abhimanyu,
Yes, sir.
Abhimanyu Malik. Very good name. So, welcome to the mock interview, Abhimanyu.
Sir, please pardon.
Welcome to the mock interview.
Thank you, sir.
Abhimanyu.
Yes, sir.
It reminds me about actually one more Abhimanyu.
Yes, sir.
Who can be that Abhimanyu?
Sir, Abhimanyu was a character in the epic Mahabharata. He was the son of Arjun, known for his act of bravery and courage.
What was his role in Mahabharata?
Sir, he was fighting on the side of Pandavas, and he displayed great courage and also was instrumental in entering the Chakravyuh. And he was the only person except Arjun who could enter the Chakravyuh.
Only enter,
Yes, sir. And
not to come out.
yes, sir. He did not know the art of coming out of the Chakravyuh.
What was the reason?
Sir, there's a backstory to it. When Lord Krishna was, when Arjun was telling the art of entering and exiting the Chakravyuh to his wife Subhadra.
So who stopped actually? Pandavas all were there except Arjun with him. So how they could not actually make an entry along with Abhimanyu?
Sir, on that day, Jayadratha had he had a blessing from Lord Shiva that he except Arjun, he would not he can take on all the Pandavas and would not let them move ahead in the war. So he utilized that.
So
blessing.
only on that day, or he was given that blessing forever?
Sir, only on that day.
Only for one day.
Yes, sir.
Acha, good. PSIR,
Yes, sir.
good subject. Which political thinker you find close to your thinking and ideology?
Sir, I believe Aristotle is one thinker which I subscribe to the most as far as my own political thinking or thinking is concerned.
So all his ideas you like.
Sir, not all his ideas, but the basic essence behind the ideas.
For example,
Uh,
which are the ideas you like the most in Aristotle?
Sir, he's a very practical thinker and he calls for a balance and to avoid extremities. And that's why he calls for reforms of institutions rather than abolishing the same. So I believe even in real life, that's a very important virtue to have because just doing away with things.
But people criticize him a lot. For what?
Uh, sir, his theory of slavery, which he justifies that slavery is natural and is also beneficial to the slaves. So that part of his political thinking is criticized a lot.
Any other thing which is happening even in your home state? The second thing which he advocated.
Sir, not providing the political rights or the citizenship rights to the women and subordinating them to the males. He's also criticized for that.
Okay, good. Now tell us, you have a lot of Babas in Haryana, Abhimanyu. What is their role actually? Their ashrams have become actually shelter for, antisocial elements, and they are doing all sorts of illegal acts. What is your view?
Sir, there is a Baba culture in Haryana, I would say. There are certain deras also, like in Sirsa we have the Dera Sacha Sauda and other things. The main reason for their prevalence is, so they provide solutions or people perceive that they are providing solutions to their daily life problems. And that's why, because some people become followers and then other people through hearsay, they also join the league. Because, sir, at the end of the day, they are more people
Okay,
frustrated
in
than
nutshell,
happy.
tell me whether they are asset to the society or they are liability. Yes, no.
Uh, Sir, I would say it would be too general to say in a yes or no, because we cannot generalize every uh, religious preacher to be an asset or
No,
liability.
no, we
It's
are talking about Babas only, not the other preachers.
Sir, still it would be not correct to say that every Baba is a liability or an asset. It only depends on what he is preaching. So if he is preaching good things and is in the constitutional, which fits well into the constitutional and legal domains, then they may be assets because they also serve the
So, all the
spiritual.
cases of rape, murder filed against them and they are in the jail are wrong. All the cases filed by the police against them
Yes, sir.
are wrong cases if they are asset.
No, sir, they are absolutely right because some of them have also led to convictions. So the police had enough evidence against the Babas, and that is certainly.
So, they are criminal. So, if you are a criminal, how you can be asset to the society?
So certainly the people, the Babas who have been charged with criminal acts, they cannot be an asset to the society because what they are preaching, and they are doing things exactly contrary to it. So they cannot be good examples to the society. But only those Babas which may be satiating the spiritual needs of the people and not doing anything contrary to law.
Can you give example of 2, 3 Babas who according to you are assets in Haryana and doing all good spiritual things?
Sorry, sir, I'm.
Then how you can say actually that they are asset to the society?
Sir, I'm not.
I am giving you example. There are criminal cases of rape, murder. There are numerous sections of Indian Penal Code and other sections filed against them, charge sheets. So you give me actually evidence of assets.
Sir, I would not say specifically to Haryana.
We are talking about Haryana Babas.
Sir,
National level we are not going.
Sir, for Haryana, my knowledge is limited
Okay,
in this regard, sir.
Thank you very much. Abhimanyu, you were talking about Abhimanyu and Mahabharata. In that context, Sonipat also seems to have a very illustrious history.
Yes, sir.
What?
Sir, Sonipat was part of the 5 villages that were demanded by the Pandavas in lieu of the Hastinapur
Okay.
and Indraprasth. Sir, Hastinapur in lieu of Hastinapur. So there the name Sonprasth comes in, which is believed to be present day Sonipat.
Very good. Now, you have done PSIR as an optional.
Yes, sir.
Let me come to international relations part of it. What was the main element of the Westphalian Treaty?
Sir, the main element of the Westphalian Treaty was the sovereignty of states. Now, that has to be of pivotal importance and that has to be ensured by all means.
No, there is one difference. Uh-huh. So things were called sovereign even before that. So there is something beyond sovereignty.
Sir, there we also see emergence of nation states in the Westphalian Treaty and also the balance of power
Yes.
was the main
Nation states on the basis of what?
sir territorial
Exactly.
yes sir.
Territorial boundaries.
Yes, sir.
Now, my question to you is, in the current context of the way the world is going, do you think territorial boundaries or the geographical boundaries are outdated and we should get onto the different concept of defining sovereignty now? Globalization, social media,
Yes, sir.
internet access, censorship doesn't work, information goes through to everyone. So most of the instruments of sovereignty and territorial integrity are now passé. Now tell me.
Sir, in the globalized era that we are into currently, many of the boundaries have blurred. And there are also global concerns emerging, be it the climate change, the rise of terrorism, and in recent times, the rise of artificial intelligence, communication flows. Now, for that, the governance architecture should go towards a model of pooled sovereignty. Like, sir, what we have in the European Union, for certain aspects, they have a kind of pooled sovereignty in certain functional domains. But still, I believe, sir, territorial integrity is required, and it's also fiercely protected. So I do not see a withering away of that.
It is also what protected PFC? Sorry?
Sir, the territorial integrity,
Uh-huh.
it's also fiercely protected by the.
Fiercely protected.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. And because there has to be a territory in order for any government to undertake schemes or projects and for law and order operations.
Okay. So basically, either pooled sovereignty like the European Union, United Nations?
Yes, sir. United Nations is thought of as an organization where certain areas, the United Nations should emerge sovereign. And but currently the situation is not so conducive because there are disagreements between the P5 and also among the countries. But yes, in the long run, sir, for global concerns, we should move towards such a
Okay.
model.
Palestine.
Yes,
In
sir.
the case of the pooled sovereign, the territorial integrity. How do you look at Palestine? Sovereign, non sovereign, country, state, or not?
Sir, Palestine I see as a non-sovereign nation, but not a state.
Non sovereign nation.
Yes, sir.
What is a non sovereign nation?
Sir, non-sovereign nation, as in that it does not have absolute powers to for towards a particular territory. It cannot ensure a law and order for its a particular area. It's still under a lot of intervention from a foreign or the other state. But it has the feeling of oneness that it wants to emerge as a nation state. So it has that oneness, which that's why it's a nation. But it's not sovereign because it cannot impose upon or it does not have absolute powers with respect to its own territory.
But it has a territory.
Sir, it has a territory, but
Is Gaza part of its territory?
yes, sir, Gaza is a part of that territory.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Ji sir, thank you. Abhimanyu,
Yes, ma'am.
while you were discussing with the chair, you made a statement that Abhimanyu is a character in Mahabharata.
Yes, ma'am.
Is he a character? Is he a person? Fiction? What is it?
Ma'am, as far as the ma'am, since Mahabharata is an epic, it's a book written by.
It's a history or it is fiction? It is religion? What is it?
Ma'am, there are still contradictions about the historical veracity of Mahabharata. There are certain evidences that people claim to have coming from the Mahabharata, but still the information that comes to us is more from the book rather than from archaeological
All right.
evidence.
So what is the learning from Mahabharata? Is there any learning? One single learning from Mahabharata which you've been able to understand?
Ma'am, one single learning from Mahabharata it would be that sometimes kinship should be preferred over kingship, because what we see in Mahabharata is there is a tussle for power, and there is also adharma, and where the kingship ties they have been made subordinate to the will to kingship. So somewhere this I believe, ma'am, can be the
would be
message
the
which
main
we
learning for
find
you.
in Ramayana.
All right. So now the conversation between Shri Krishna and Arjun, how do you define that? Is that a sermon or a dialogue?
Ma'am, it's a dialogue because Arjun asks many doubts that he has. So it's a dialogue, ma'am.
It's a dialogue according to you. All right. Now, cups. What is the basic purpose with which the cups were set up?
Ma'am, the basic purpose for setting up of calves was to was to pronounce upon the performing the judicial functions in the villages, also instilling good values in the
Judicial
society.
functions in which areas?
Ma'am, like the local customs and norms. So to enforce them, harps were used as a platform, and also instilling good values to the people around and make norms uh, for functioning of the society.
Not for land disputes.
Uh, Sorry, ma'am, I'm not aware about this.
Not for safeguarding the territory from outside, which is irrelevant today. But initially, when it was set up, was this also one of the aims?
Yes, ma'am, to also prevent against invasions. So this was one of.
So, in the present day context, is the CARP overstepping the initial role which was given to it?
Ma'am, I believe yes.
In the context of love jihad?
Yes, ma'am. Certainly, in some pronouncements of the Khabs, I believe, ma'am, that they have overstepped, and certain extra constitutional pronouncements they have made.
Extrajudicial.
Yes, ma'am, and they have been uh, also criticized for the same, especially when it comes to love marriages and social ostracization, and also calling for honor killings. So one or two instances have been there also.
Okay. Now, when I look at your DAF, I see a lot of sports. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
So you seem to have a bent of mind for sports. Now, this is a service which you are aiming for. So how do you reconcile the two?
Ma'am, I believe that sports provides us a lot of lessons and a lot of traits that are required for even civil services.
So which are those? 1, 2, 3.
Ma'am, first trait I would say is the leadership qualities that sports provide. Second, I believe, is the maintaining one's calm and composure in tumultuous times.
Balance, okay.
And third would be, ma'am, decision making and a quick decision making. So these three traits one learns from sports, and it's also
Not fair play?
Yes, ma'am. Fair play also is one.
So that is an add-on, or that is number one?
Ma'am, I would not be in a position to rate the two, but certainly in the top 3-4. It would
All
be.
right. So what, according to you, are the top 3 qualities which a civil servant needs to have? Because you have been in NABARD all along.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes? Which is very different from what you are now looking at. What are the 3 basic traits or qualities which a civil servant needs to have?
My first trait, apart from skill set, one needs to have empathy. Second, one needs to be responsive to the stakeholders. And third, again, ma'am, would be decision making.
All right.
In crunch
Anything
situations.
beyond this, which is very important for a civil servant?
Ma'am, integrity.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Honesty and integrity. Yes. Let's move on now, because IR is one of your subjects. So, if I say that Russia is losing the battle for the Black Sea, what is this emergency shipping corridor?
Sorry, ma'am.
No
I
idea.
need to read
All
upon
right.
it.
My last question. 64 countries during 2024 have either had elections or are heading towards elections. So does it make the world a very democratic place? If you see all around you, functionings are very democratic.
Ma'am, holding or having elections and being democratic are two different things. First, ma'am, it's a coincidence that maximum number of elections are happening in 2024. So maybe some countries have a 5-year system, 4-year system. So that is one thing.
All right.
Second, ma'am, even in certain countries where elections are happening, they cannot be construed to be a perfect democracies, or they are
Name
not.
one or two.
Ma'am, first being Pakistan itself, where
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
Accepted.
Ma'am, Russia again. Ma'am, there are allegations that.
All right. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Abhimanyu. So you have a sports. You like sports,
Yes, sir.
right? Played table tennis. You played volleyball. you played cricket, right?
Yes, sir.
But I can also see that you sporting a paunch.
Yes, sir.
How does it go, the two together?
Sir, unfortunately, I have not been keeping up much with the sports now. So I try to find time for it, but sometimes the official engagements and these things but I definitely needs to work upon it. So I'll try to find some time for sports.
So Abhimanyu knew how to break into the Chakravyuh, but not to come out of it. How many people in the Mahabharata battle knew how to break the Chakravyuh and come out of it successfully?
Sir, I'm not aware about the number
You
of
haven't
people.
read the story?
Sir, for certain, Lord Krishna, Bhishma Pitama, Dronacharya, Arjun. Uh, these are the four that I know that they knew the art of entering and coming out, sir. The rest of the warriors I'm not aware about.
Karn?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Tell me, how is the President of India elected?
Sir, the President of India is elected through an electoral college, basically comprising of the members of the Lok Sabha, the Rajya Sabha, minus the nominated members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and the members of legislative assemblies. And sir, there is a quota provided to each member.
How is that quota arrived at?
Sir, it is based upon the sir. First is that the quota of the MPs, the total quota of the MPs is equal to the total quota of all the MLAs.
Quota or value?
Sir, the value. Thank you, sir, for correcting me. The value of the value of vote is equal in both. Then, sir, it is ascertained for that particular
How do you
legislature.
arrive at this value?
Sir, first, the total population of the state. Uh, Sir, it is divided by the number of legislative assembly seats
Okay.
and further divided by 1000.
Okay. Now you said all the nominated members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Do you still have nominated members in Lok Sabha?
Sir, currently, with the constitutional amendment, that has been done away with. We do not have any nominated members in Lok Sabha now.
How many members of Lok Sabha are there now?
Sir, 543.
And in Rajya Sabha?
Sir, 245.
Elected members.
Sir, 233.
Good. What's the difference between, major difference between the election of President of India and the Vice President of India?
So the major difference is that for the election of president, the electoral college also comprises of members of the legislative assemblies, whereas in case of vice president, only the members of the parliament are included in the electoral college.
That's difference number one. What is the major difference number two?
Sorry, sir, I'm not able to recall at the moment.
The nominated members also vote in the case of Vice President of India.
Thank you, sir.
What does AFSPA stand for?
Sir, AFSPA stands for Armed Forces Special Power Act.
Special Powers Act.
Yes, sir.
And what are these special powers? And to whom it is given and in what circumstances?
Sir, the special powers include the power for search and seizures, the power to also open fires, and also certain immunities are provided for actions taken in with bona fide intentions. The powers are provided to the central armed forces, sir, the paramilitary, and also the army. And
When and where?
sir, AFSPA is currently
No, when and where these powers are given to Central Armed Police Forces and the Army, where and when?
Sir, when there is a disturbance, some kind of insurgency or terrorism in a particular area, so deal with such circumstances where it is felt that the state police forces uh, are not able to handle the situation properly. So to assist them and to properly handle such situations.
That's fine, but that area will have to be notified.
Yes, sir.
What is this called?
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware about this.
The area is declared disturbed, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes.
How many Central Armed Police Forces are there?
Sir, I'm able to recall 6 of them.
List them.
The Central Reserve Police Force, the Central Industrial Security Force, the Border Security Force, the Indo-Tibetan Police Force, and sir, the Indo-Tibetan Border Police Force, and then Sashastra Seema Bal and Assam Rifles.
National Security Guard.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Abhimanyu,
Yes,
on
sir.
similar lines, what kind of borders do we share with Pakistan? They're given different names, different sectors. What are they?
Sir, the border with Pakistan, sir, it is international borders in some area.
Which area?
Sir, in areas of Punjab, Rajasthan, Gujarat. Sir,
Why?
Sir, because they have been demarcated during the times of partition. But sir, the border that currently we have, I would not say it a border, sir, but the ceasefire line that we have is called as LOC, line of control, in case of the territories of Jammu and Kashmir.
Okay, what else? That's all.
Yes, sir.
Think beyond Gujarat, you'll get one more. And then there is one more further north.
Sorry, sir, I'm unable to recollect it.
No
this
problem. All right, moving on. Can you name some modern day Indian political scientists?
Sir, one of the prominent modern day political scientists is Professor MP Singh, and second would be, I would say, Pratap Bhanu Mehta to some
Okay.
extent. And there are many in the IR domain, but political scientists, sir, I'm only aware.
Not paying too much attention to political science. No problem. Anyways, now, which is the oldest or recognized oldest subject in the world?
Sir, I'm not.
You mentioned Aristotle. That's why I thought of this question.
Sir, Aristotle happens to be the father of many subjects.
Any political science?
Yes, sir.
Who is his predecessor
Sir, Plato.
and his?
Sir, Socrates.
Now tell me.
Sir, philosophy. Yes, sir.
Okay. Moving on. How was the subprime crisis resolved?
Sir, subprime crisis was mainly resolved because that led to a lot of banking failures. The first thing, sir, and then
How was it resolved?
so a lot of stimulus packages was given by the economies. Like the US announced the biggest fiscal stimulus package to tackle the crisis.
What is the term?
Sir, for what the US
You're in the sector. That's why I'm asking you for a more specific and more technical term. More liquidity was infused in the market.
Yes, sir.
Simple. That's how it was resolved,
Yes, sir.
isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Moving on. What is Red Cross?
Sir, Red Cross is an international organization that mainly caters to providing medical assistance during wars and also undertaking various awareness campaigns for various disease and also helping the government in disaster management efforts.
Disaster management. Red Cross.
Yes, sir.
What is Red Crescent?
Sir, Red Crescent is also a similar organization. Sir, in some of the countries, it is either the Red Cross or the Red Crescent organization.
Why?
Sir, Red Crescent mainly came into being because of the Muslim countries. So, crescent was the sign that was provided, except because cross was deemed to be a Christian sign.
Acha.
Yes, sir.
Final question. Who is India's best friend?
Sir, if I have to name one country, then it would be Russia.
Russia. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.